Am I the a-hole for refusing to borrow money from my husband anymore? Me 36F and my husband 37M went to the beach last weekend and my wallet disappeared. I don't know if it was stolen or if I dropped it, but either way, it disappeared with all of my credit cards, ID, etc. We live in Japan, so I still had some money charged to my phone, which I used throughout the week to get my residency card replaced. I have to take a train and bus, which costs money, and I have been living on 100 yuan's cup noodles. When I went to get my number card replaced, a type of social security card here in Japan, I was told it costs money. So I wanted to go later when I got my cash card or a credit card back and I could do so on my own money. But when I told my husband this, he insisted I do it immediately and said he would borrow me the money to do so. I told him I could just wait and do it later when I had access to my money again, but he came to meet me and borrowed 10,000 yuans that he withdrew from a nearby ATM. I took the money, thanked him, and assured him I would return it as soon as possible. Fast forward and my cash card arrived and 2 of my credit cards. We went out for lunch today and he went to pay. So I asked him how much I owed him for my half. He tells me not to worry because he is tallying it up in the entry space on our chat line. He puts the money there like 10,000 plus 600 plus 250 plus 1,500 without sending it to keep a tally. I don't mind that he is keeping the tally, but when I asked about the 250, he says it's for the ATM charge for the 10,000 he borrowed from me. I don't mind paying that and I understand that it is expensive, but I was very surprised he was counting that closely and told him I would never think of charging someone for the ATM fee to borrow money. I insisted they borrow. By the way, I have never borrowed money from him before. And this is after years of me paying for things for the both of us and his half of meals and him saying he will pay me back later and ultimately buying me a beer or something here and there and saying, just take 300 yuans off of what I owe you. He does acknowledge this debt and he pays it back in this way though. I have never considered factoring tax into the things I pay for him or anything. And I cannot imagine a relationship where I would do something like that. Anyway, when I was surprised, I asked, you're actually charging me that? And he got upset because ATMs are expensive. It's not about you, it's about them. So I said that of course I will pay him, but I think if I ever needed to borrow money again I wouldn't ask him. He got angry at me and stormed off, leaving me in the street by myself. Am I the a-hole here?
Here are the top comments, plus Opie's reply.
Not the e-hole, but the idea of being in a marriage where one spouse has to borrow money from the other seems completely bananas to me.
OP replied,
We don't have a joint account or anything, so all our finances are pretty separate. I'm not sure, but I thought this was kind of normal for childless couples. It might be a Japanese thing though, because I know some other couples like this.
Not the a-hole. Why would you ever be an a-hole for not wanting to borrow money from anyone? You married a tightwad and he had you convinced that you both identify fair in the same way, but you don't. He is petty.
Not the a-hole. If you borrow from him then he gets to borrow from you, and clearly when he borrows from you, he doesn't pay it all back. Just tally everything you pay for the exact way he did with you so he knows the free ride is over.